Hey guys, alrighty. So I didn't get to make a video last night. I was a little busy, but if you guys missed it, we had a huge red day yesterday, negative 1.4% day, biggest down day since September area. So basically what happened with that was there was one person who essentially had bought about 1 million total contracts, not a dollars value, contracts of zero DTEs yesterday. And essentially once they started to close those out, we just had a massive drop. There was also a couple other people I saw that had bought some heavy amounts of puts, like millions worth of puts throughout the day that became very, very valuable also. So essentially we had an options driven drop. It's been a while since we've had one of those rogue moves like that. We had one of those, I think it was last year. I can't remember if it was early this year or last year, but kind of the same thing. Someone had bought like 100,000 contracts of ES options, and when they did that, of course the MM has to hedge, and when they did that, it caused a massive drop. I think it was like an $8 drop, but of course they closed for profits middle of the day, and once they closed, we then rallied back $8 up. So that's just the power of options in this market. It can really move things. It can really cause some big havoc. So looking at where we're at here, you can see we're in a really nice bull channel here, but we broke through that support yesterday. So this is that support that goes back to October. So pretty much what's happening right now is we put a new supply in on yesterday at 474.84. And now we came down, we are holding previous demand right here at 469.2. Now, we did not get a new demand today, which likely we could get one tomorrow, which would be based off of this candle here. So then we actually put a new higher demand and could push up. But what I'm kind of eyeing is what's happened back here in the November 22nd to December 8th is that we just consolidated. So we could form a nice 468.3 to really 474.9 consolidation area. I'm not fully convinced that we're going to break through, but if the bulls can close over 474.84, then the potential for a bigger upside move is there. We did hold daily 8 EMA support and got an inside day today. I would have liked to have seen this breakdown back to the 20 EMA. As you can see, I mean, we haven't even touched the 20 EMA support since November 1st when we gapped over that move there. So that was, just a huge move up there. And we haven't even looked back at it one time. The Qs has back tested it, but SPY is very much so overdue for that. So we could see maybe a rounding top back down, but it's really, really hard, especially watching end of day today, to even just remotely consider betting against the bulls though. Going over to futures here, same thing. We had a nice 8 EMA support bounce, really nice double bottom here. We didn't quite get back as high as I would have liked. I would have liked to see us get about at least 75% of this candle back. We got about 50% of it probably. But same thing here. We're forming a nice potential range here from about 47.50 to 48.20 area. So again, we could just be in a bigger consolidation period here. Going over to the Qs here, same thing. We came down, we bounced off the 8 EMA, and this is that 20 EMA support test that we got on the Qs during that consolidation period, which really the Qs consolidated from November 14th to pretty much December 11th, almost a month when we finally broke out here. So again, we could enter a really long consolidation period here, but as of right now, I would say our range is 403 to basically 409.2. Bulls need to close over that supply, and bears need to get back under that demand right there in order to kind of have one way or other move here. Going over to NQ, kind of same thing. Oh, I didn't update this. So we did get a new supply, obviously, yesterday there. So 17.030 is basically our supply. And then our previous demand is at 16,738. So same thing here. We could get a new daily demand tomorrow at 16,788, which then opens up a resistance possibility here. The 15 double bottom is or the daily double bottom here is really, really nice off that 8 EMA support, which does give potential for a bigger bounce up. But again, we could be entering about, a 300 point range right here if you look at it. So, if you take the low here, of the candle body from December 14th to a high, it's about 294 points. So, we could just be entering a little consolidation period here, but we'll have to kind of see where we end up tomorrow. Now, if we go over to the VIX here, so the VIX had its two biggest day moves up in a row since back here in October. Or back here in October right here, where we had the big old pump, and that had a big correction to the downside on SPY. So honestly, I'm really impressed. The VIX actually, as you can see, closed exactly 0.00% today. But, it was a weird day. If you looked at this morning when SPY and especially NQ were looking aggressive to the downside, and we had some of probably the strongest selling we've had since yesterday in a long time, though. But you had the VIX up almost 6% at its peak, yet SPY was still up 0.5%. So, we was really weird to see that. That shows that there's a really big, I would almost just call it an imbalance somewhere where, what is happening is not really matching up very closely. So, it's one thing when we're just kind of in a slow push up and you get like, a negative, I don't know, or like a small green day on the VIX and then a small green day on SPY, that's not a big deal. But to see a big 1% day on SPY here and the VIX was up 6% at one point, is definitely a weird thing to be watching or to see. So looking at the VIX though, you see we had a big old breakout 9% day yesterday. But now we have a huge double top doji rejection. So this likely is going to result in a downside move on the VIX, which then should push markets higher. Now, again, it has happened before where you can see like this, we get a huge rejection on the VIX and then the next day instantly pushes back up. We did also close and hold our first candle over the daily 20 EMA resistance since October 31st, which if you remember that day, that is the day we started this huge bull rally up. Now, I'm kind of surprised to not see a follow-through day. I would have expected the VIX to hold up higher. This was kind of our trigger for the breakout, was that closure over the 20 EMA. And it looks like we're going to even try to maybe get an 8 and 20 EMA bullish crossover. But if you look at it, we basically have just a huge range here on the VIX. So you can look and see 13.66 and then essentially 12.08. And this is just a big old range that we've been in since basically November 21st. So kind of see what tomorrow does. Next week is the JPM collar. That likely, the way the market likes to work is that we like to trade between the calls and the puts. Now, this is only the second time that I can remember or that I've seen in the couple years that I've backtested the collar that we've actually closed or will projectively close over the sold calls, but that's the top of their collar. Right now, their calls, I believe, are 4,500. And obviously we're at 47.47 right now. So I did a little calculation yesterday in the Discord. JPM with the current high day from yesterday. I didn't recalculate it today, but we'll just leave it from yesterday before the big drop. Their hedge, which is essentially what the collar is, was actually down about $1 billion. So now again, that's a lot of money, obviously. But if you think about it, it's just a hedge. And the amount of assets they have on their books and the fact that we're at all-time highs and assumingly they've been buying the dip since last year, I'm sure their assets far outweigh any sort of loss. And that's obviously, just the nature of it if they're doing this hedge and it's just a hedge they do every single quarter. It's not a big deal to them, but it is interesting to see how big of a hedge that is if you think about it in that terms there. So overall, I had a good day trading today. Look to see what tomorrow brings. But it's been a good week. Going to just kind of coast into a 3-day weekend. Remember, markets will be closed on Monday, obviously for Christmas, and then we'll pick things back up on Tuesday.